Wolfram Sievers
were murdered in connection with the Rasher and the other experiments carried out under the guise of Nazi science? And to that question you gave this answer: I cannot say, because I had no insight into these matters. Do you remember that? It's on page 1939 of the transcript. Well, now, I want to see whether or not you did have insight into these matters, witness. Did you ever hear of Hirt's, Professor Hirt's skeleton collection?
Es handelt sich hier um eine Angelegenheit der Anatomie der Universität Straßburg.
I asked you, did you hear about it?
Jawohl, ich habe davon gehört.
You played a very active part in the creation of that collection of skeletons, didn't you?
Ich habe Ihre Frage nicht im Anfang verstanden.
You played an active part in the collection of of those skeletons.
Nein.
I want you to look first at the document number 116. It's an insertion into the tribunal's document book at page... Were you contacted for details?
Es handelt sich hier um den Ausbau der Anatomie der damals neu übernommenen Universität Straßburg, und zwar dem Neuaufbau des sogenannten Anatomischen Museums, wie es an allen Anatomien der Universitäten überall besteht.
This was just a piece of academic research, was it?
Jawohl.
Where were you going to get the skeletons from?
Die Einzelheiten sollte Professor Hirt mit...
Now, just answer my question, witness, because you know perfectly well the answer to it. Where were you going to get those skeletons from?
Die sollten zur Verfügung gestellt werden aus Auschwitz.
Now I want you to look at a letter in furtherance of Brandt's communication, which you sent to Brandt, containing suggestions as to where those skeletons should come from. It's the document number 14 and 15 of the German document book. Letter headed The Ahnenerbe, dated the 9th of February 1942, marked secret. It's addressed to Brandt, Himmler's adjutant. It's your letter, witness, isn't it? It's your signature at the bottom of it.
Jawohl.
I'll read it out. Dear Comrade Brandt, Professor Dr. Hirt's report, which you requested in your letter of the 29th of December 1941, is submitted in the enclosure. I was not able to send it to you before because Professor Hirt was taken ill some time later. Then there follow details of his illness. Because of this, Professor Hirt was merely able to write a preliminary report, which, however, I should like to submit to you. 1. His research in the field of microscopic living organs, the discovery of a new method of examination, and the construction of a new research microscope. 2. His proposals for securing skulls of Jewish Bolshevik commissars. Then there is your signature. And you forward with that letter Professor Hirt's report and his suggestions. And this is Hirt's report, subject: Jewish Bolshevik commissars. to the Feldpolice. The Feldpolizei, in turn, is to be given special directives to inform a certain office at regular intervals of the number and place of detention of these captured Jews, and to give them special close attention and care until a special delegate arrives. This special delegate, who will be in charge of securing the material, a junior physician of the Wehrmacht, or even the Feldpolizei, or a student of medicine, equipped with a motor car and driver, will forward it to its proper point of destination in a hermetically sealed tin can, especially produced for this purpose and filled with a conserving fluid. Having arrived at the laboratory, the comparison tests and anatomical research of on the skull, as well as determination of the race membership, of pathological features of the skull form, the form and size of the brain, etc., can proceed. Did you ever hear of Professor Hirt's skeleton collection?
Es handelt sich hier um eine Angelegenheit der Anatomie der Universität Straßburg.
I asked you, did you hear about it? An active part in the creation of that collection of skeletons, didn't you?
Ich habe Ihre Frage nicht im Anfang verstanden.
You played an active part in the collection of those skeletons.
Nein.
Of the Jewish race, however, only very few specimens of skulls are available, with the result that it is impossible to arrive at precise conclusions from examining them. The war in the East now presents us with the opportunity to overcome this deficiency. By procuring the skull, has the job of taking a series of previously established photographs, anthropological measurements, and in addition has to determine, so far as is possible, the background, date of birth, and other personal data of the prisoner. Following the subsequently induced death of the Jew, whose head should not be damaged, the delegate will separate the head from the body and will forward it to its proper point of destination in a hermetically sealed tin can, especially produced for this purpose and filled with a conserving fluid. Having arrived at the laboratory, the comparison tests and anatomical research of on the skull, as well as determination of the race membership, of pathological features of the skull form, the form and size of the brain, etc., can proceed. The basis of these studies will be the photos, measurements, and other data supplied on the head, and finally the tests on the skull itself. That was the report which you forwarded to Brandt.
Jawohl, das ist der Bericht von Professor Hirt.
Are you saying to this tribunal that you don't know what happened with regard to the progress of that collection of skulls and skeletons?